Hello, my friends. It's Casey and we are here to practice an hour with you today. And we're going to start off in Child's Pose, which I usually don't start off in an advanced class, but let's start in Child's Pose. Come down to your knees, sit back on your heels, let your head relax down, and let's start it off like this. Take a couple big breaths here. I'm very excited to teach us. We've got a little more technique than you're used to getting with me, but I want to do the same kind of signature class and just give you some tips to think about in the future when you take my classes. So first couple breaths in Child's Pose. I just want to tell you, ideally through your practice, breathe through your nose if you can. A deep, consistent inhale through your nose and a deep, consistent exhale through your nose. When class gets tough, if it gets too hard to breathe through your nose, that's okay, breathe through your mouth. But ideally through the nose, and if you have to go through your mouth, just keep it consistent as well. Take a couple more deep breaths through your nose with us here, just establishing this consistency with your breath here. The idea is you breathe consistently, you get in oxygen consistently, your body will move in its best place. Last breath like this. And now from our Child's Pose, let's come up to our hands and knees. Let's make our way back into Down Dog and pedal our legs out. So bend one knee then the other, back and forth here. And then keeping your heels down evenly, just stay here in Down Dog. And your feet are hip distance apart, and your hands are shoulder distance apart. These last couple breaths, feel that your legs are straight as can be with your heels moving down. Your heels may or may not touch the floor, but your heels are moving in that direction. Your fingers are spread wide, and you're pressing evenly in the hands. All right, from this Down Dog, let's just walk our feet up to our hands. Separate your feet so they're hip distance apart. Let's just hang down here in a forward bend for a few breaths like this. We're gonna get into the strength soon. We've got the same awesome music soundtrack, but I'm just gonna be talking a little bit more today about what to think about in your athletic practice with me. Let's roll up to standing, one vertebrae at a time. Take a big breath in. Top of your breath, your hands reach up to the ceiling. As we start to exhale, fold back down to the floor. It's with the breath. Again, roll up, take a big breath in. Reach your arms up to the ceiling. When the inhale ends, then we descend back down to the floor, all the way down in a forward bend with the exhale. And then let's separate our feet a little wider than our mat. The right hand stays down, that left arm rises up as we twist to the left here. When any twist, I want you to think about arching your back a little bit, so the feeling is your heart moves forward a little bit more. There's less of a round in your back and more of an extension and straightness of your spine. Take one more breath. Bring that left hand down to the floor. Let's take that right arm up as we twist to the right here. Again, in any twist, once you get into any twist, think about your heart moving forward, arching your spine, straightening it out a little bit more. And one more breath here. And let's bring that right hand down to the floor. Fantastic. Let's roll up to standing. So take a big breath in, torso reaches up, arms reach up to the ceiling. As we start our exhale, it all comes back down in a forward bend again. And let's walk it back into Down Dog again from there. You can even arch your back a little bit like you did in that twist here in Down Dog to get your spine straight as can be. And now from Down Dog, let's come forward into plank. Exhale, lower down from plank. uncurl your toes, arch your back up, and exhale back into down dog. So in a vinyasa, it's all linked to the breath. Each movement has a breath if you don't already practice that way. So let's do that 2 more times. We're in down dog. Inhaling, we're coming forward into plank. As we exhale, lower down. Uncurl your toes, arch your back up. Exhale takes us back into down dog. Nice. One more time again. Inhaling, we're coming forward. Exhaling, we're lowering down. Uncurl your toes, arch up, and exhale back into down dog. Good. Ideally, all those breaths are through your nose and they're consistent. The breath I'm cueing is kind of a middle of the range breath. If your breath is a little quicker or a little slower, that's always okay. You just have to follow your breath's natural rhythm. It's going to be a little different than mine. So you can always be a little off from mine. All right, from down dog, let's take that right leg up in the air. 2 options people always ask me. You can either have your hips parallel, so your right foot pressing down or looking straight down, pointing straight down, or you can open up that right hip and lift it higher. Either way is fine. But try to have your weight evenly in your hands. Don't lean to that left arm. You want that right arm to have equal amount of pressure as the left. And now let's come into Crescent Pose. Bring that right foot up inside your right hand. Reach your torso and arms up in crescent as we begin. 3 most important things. Your back leg stays straight. You have a strong bend in that front leg with that right knee just over that right ankle. You want a straight line from your torso, through your shoulders, through your hands, straight up. All those things. 1 more breath in this crescent. Now stay on your back foot. Lean out over that right leg and stay there. Want a straight line from that left heel all the way out through your shoulders and out through your hands. And now last, bring your left hand to the floor. Take your right arm up as we twist to the right. Arch your spine a little bit more, like in those twists, like I said. Your heart moves forward a little bit more. Look up to that right hand. Feel just as much strength in your left leg as is in your right leg. Take 1 more breath with all those things. And bring that hand down to the floor. Good. Step that right foot back into plank. Through a vinyasa. When you exhale, lower down. Inhale, you're arching. When you exhale, back into down dog. So good. Other side. Let's take that left leg up in the air. Your choice. Either keep your hips parallel, pointing that left foot straight down, or open up that left hip. They're both good options. It's whatever you prefer. And now step that left foot up inside your left hand. Let's come into crescent on this side. Same thing. Strong legs, torso straight up. Now check in with your breath. You've got the physical feeling. Now add the breath being consistent in and out. A few more breaths just like that. I consider the physical body, the external body, and the breath body, how the breath is working, as what's going on internally. So keep both really strong. Now stay on that back foot. We're leaning out over that left leg for a few breaths here to charge it up a little more. Good, and now bring your right hand down to the floor. Take that left arm up as we twist it left. And like before, arch your back a little. Feel your heart moving forward. Feel strength evenly between both legs, not just that front left bent leg. Last couple breaths, make them long breaths. Bring that hand down to the floor. Let's step back into plank and stay right here. We've got 5 push-ups. They can be traditional with your elbows out wide, or yoga push-ups with your elbows right by your rib cage when you lower. And you can always lower from your knees. When you're done with 5, take up dog and down dog from there. In class, I see a lot of people when they do push-ups, lowering their hips down and not really lowering their torso and hips down evenly. Just be aware of that. Let's come back into plank. 3 more push-ups. Really go for a straight line in your whole back as it comes down and up. Try to have your hips just as high as your shoulders. And after that 3rd push-up, let's make our way back into down dog again. Now let's take that right leg up in the air again. Your choice, either open that hip and bend the knee also, or keep your hips square and parallel. Now one time, bring your knee toward your nose. You want your shoulders right over your wrists. Extend that leg back out in the air. Let's come into crescent again like before. Bring that right foot up. Keep your torso and arms up in crescent to start. Now take your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Look up and arch back here. Feel that your back leg is staying straight. Roll your shoulders open. And as you look up, it challenges your balance a little more. That's what we're going for. Really work on our equilibrium. So one more breath here. Arms back up into crescent pose. Stay on that back foot. Lean out over your right leg, just like before. And then let's head out to warrior 3. Bring all your weight and balance to that right leg. You want to make a shape of a letter T. So it's a straight, strong right leg rooted down. Your torso is about parallel to the floor. Your back leg is parallel to the floor. And try to point your left toes straight down. My arms always get tired here, so I bring my hands together at my heart. But the full warrior 3 has your arms extended out, just like they were in crescent. And now bring your fingertips to the floor, standing splits. That left leg gets higher. And as your hands come down to the floor or a block, your choice. You can keep your hips square and parallel, which means your left leg is a little lower. Or you can open up that left hip, getting that leg higher. Either way, try to keep that left leg straight. Try not to let it bend. And the last couple breaths, make sure your neck is relaxed, your shoulders are relaxed, you're breathing deeply here. And now let's step it back into crescent pose from there. That left foot steps way back where we began. And then last, bring your hands together at your heart. Crescent twist to the right. That left tricep rests on our right thigh as we twist it right here. In all twists, straighten your back a little bit more. Feeling your heart move forward. Make sure that back leg feels straight and lifted as you twist to the right here. A few more breaths like this. If you want to challenge your balance more, look up toward the ceiling. Good, release your hands down to the floor. Step back into plank. And when you start your exhale, then you are lowering down. Inhaling to up dog. And then back into down dog from there. Really nice. That other side, take that left leg up in the air. First, bring your knee toward your nose. Feel that your shoulders are right over your wrists. Extend that leg back out. Crescent pose. Bring that left foot up on this side and crescent to begin. I want you to physically feel strong with all those components that we've talked about. But your breath body, your inner body, feel that composed and smooth and consistent with your breath. Take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, look up and arch back a little bit. I promise you that combination of you being strong in a physical, muscular way and you being in control in a breath way, that carries over into your life. You're learning how to really work, but stay focused and in control and poised. Lift your arms back up into crescent. And here we go. Let's lean out over that left leg and just stay here for a moment. We're heading out to Warrior 3. Bring everything to balance out on that left leg here. You know, any arm position you want, but try to feel that your body's like the letter T. Your torso is parallel, the back leg is parallel, your right toes rather, they're pointing straight down toward the floor. Last few breaths. See if you can breathe a little bit deeper, even though you're working hard. Good. Now our fingertips come down to the floor. It's standing splits. That right leg gets higher. So whether you decide to keep your hips parallel or reach that right hip up and get that right leg a little higher, either way, try to take all the bend out of that right leg. Feel that your neck is relaxed. Last few breaths here. If you always want more, you can bring your left hand behind your ankle or both hands behind your ankle. That left ankle if you want to work on your balance even more. From here, let's step back into Crescent Pose from there. So that right foot steps way back and reach back up in Crescent where we began. And last, Crescent Twist. Our hands come together at our heart. We're twisting to the left. That tricep rests on that left thigh. At this point, you know what to do with your heart. Feel it. Extend forward so you have a little more length out of your spine here. And then just breathe here about 10, 15 more seconds holding this. Good. Release your hands down to the floor. Step back into plank. Through that vinyasa with your breath. Exhaling, lowering. When you inhale, it's up dog. Finishing back in down dog together here. Either walk or hop your feet up to your hands. We've got chair pose. For chair, your feet are together. So the inside of your legs are touching. You're sinking low in your legs, and you want a little more weight in your heels so that your toes have no weight in them at all. Find a strong physical, muscular place, and let's breathe into that as we build our strength physically, and we build our strength in the breath and composure way, both at the same time. That's why I love yoga so much. We're working on so many different levels. Fold down and straighten your legs from there. Let's just walk it back into down dog from there. And take that right leg up in the air. Bring your right knee toward your right elbow or tricep. Your shoulders are right over your wrists. Extend that leg back out in the air. Again, let's come into Crescent again. We're gonna start really hammering in all the crescent points. Foot steps up. Your arms and torso reach up. You feel that there's a straight line. You're not leaning forward or back with your torso. Straight line from your hips through your shoulders through your hands. Now from here, reach your left arm straight forward and right arm straight back. There's a tendency to lean a little forward or to lean back when you do this twist. Try to keep that straight up with your torso here. Now reverse crescent. Reach your left arm up and back. You want to feel equal parts twist and back bend. I like to rest my right hand on the back of my left leg. I look up toward the ceiling or the sidewall, either one. Take one more breath here. Let's come back into crescent. Our arms reach back up. And again, Warrior 3. Bring everything to balance out on that right leg. Maybe your arms outstretched in front of you or at your heart or by your side. Now we're coming into half moon. Let your right fingertips come to the floor. Your right hand can come to a block. Casey usually has her right hand hovering off the floor because she wants to work on her balance a little bit more. Any one of those options. And you want that back leg parallel to the floor. You want your left toes pointing toward the side wall and your hips and your torso pointing toward the side wall. Like with those twists, can you feel your heart reach forward a little bit more? And that left arm is straight up to the ceiling, so there's a straight line from that right hand all the way up to your shoulders, up to your left hand. Take one more breath in this strong position here. Now let's step back into Warrior 2. That left foot steps back and it lands back there. Look out over that right hand and arm. Your whole torso still facing that side wall or the side of your mat. Your torso straight up. Your heart's lifted high. And a couple more breaths and a strong bend in that right leg. That left leg is really firm. One more thing. Bring your right hand down to the floor inside that right foot. Reach your left arm at a 45-degree angle out and up. You want to make it harder, reach your right arm out and up as well. Torso still faces that side wall. A really strong lower body for you. And the last few breaths, see if you can work on making those last breaths a little bit longer. And releasing your hands down to the floor. Good. Step your way back into plank. And lower down from there. Into up dog. And back into down dog after that. So good. Now that same work on the other side. Take that left leg up in the air. Bring your left knee toward your left elbow and hold it here. Again, shoulders right over those wrists. Then reach that leg back out in the air. And coming into crescent, bring that left foot up on this side in crescent to start. So you know all the things to think about physically. Let's really work on your breath for a couple deep, long, consistent breaths here. In and out through your nose. Long inhale and exhale. And now reach that right arm straight forward and left arm straight back. Equal parts moving forward and back as you twist. If you lean forward a little bit, lean back. If you lean back a little bit, lean forward. So that straight line with your torso. Now turn your right palm up. We're taking reverse crescent. Reach that right arm up and back here. Equal parts, back bend and twist. And maybe look up higher toward the ceiling or to the side wall. Good, let's come back into crescent pose again here. And out, Warrior 3, lean forward, everything comes out to balance out on that left leg here. Parallel to the floor with that back leg and with your torso, any arm position you want. And your right toes point straight down. That thigh also can rotate toward the floor a little bit as well. That right hip can lower down a little bit. All those things kind of move down instead of like half moon where that hip is lifted. Now speaking of half moon, let's let the left fingertips come to the floor, or your hand on the block, or hover that left hand off the floor a little bit like Casey's doing right here. And that right arm rises up. So feel that back leg straight now. Your toes are pointing to that side wall. Your hips are pointing toward the side wall. Your whole torso is pointing to that side wall. And you decide where you're looking. Down is easiest. Side wall is kind of hard. And then straight up to the ceiling is really hard. The last few breaths here. You You've got the physical pose, now work on the breath, the internal work. Keep it consistent. Can you have control of that and the physicalness of half moon as well? Now from here, let's head back into warrior two. That leg goes back. Once you've landed that foot, torso up, arms reaching out. Look out over that left hand here. Heart lifts a little bit higher as you sink a little lower in that left leg. And now last, left hand down to the floor or a block. Inside that left foot, that right arm reaches out and up. You want a straight line from the outside of that right foot all the way up to the side of your body and out through your right fingertips. So you can add a little more twist to it, so rotating your torso more to that side wall, extending your heart forward. And releasing your hands down to the floor. Good. Let's step back into plank. We're going to stay right here in plank. One arm balance on your right arm. Roll to the outside of your right foot. That left arm rises up. You want to stack your hips on top of one another. You want to stack your feet on top of one another. So that left foot is not touching the floor. You want to make it harder, lift your left leg off the right. If it gets a little hard, drop that right knee to the floor instead. And you're deciding whether you're looking down toward the side wall or up. A few more breaths. It's a strong pose here. Bring that hand down to the floor. Let's do one push-up, either elbows by your side or out. And after that push-up, one arm balance on the other side. Bring everything into that left arm. You want a straight line from your head, through your torso, through your hips, to your feet. If your hips are a little high or a little low, just compensate and try to get that straight line for a few more breaths like this.
Never wanted a king, I just wanted to leave.
But rain that hand down to the floor. When you exhale, lower down from plank. And it's up dog. And back into down dog from there. Good. And now take that right leg up in the air. Bring your right knee to your left elbow or tricep. Again, your body shifts forward so your shoulders are right over your wrists. Extend that leg back out in the air. Come into warrior one. Bring that foot up. Turn that back foot down and reach your torso and arms up. In the warrior positions, that back foot is either pointing to the side of your mat or at a 45-degree angle, pointing forward, a little higher up the side of that mat. Kind of anywhere in that range is okay. Your left hip moves forward as far as it can, but don't bend that left leg at all. Maybe bend that right knee a little bit more. A few more breaths here in warrior one. And then that straight line through your torso, through your shoulders, up to your hands. Open it up in a warrior two. Now your hips face that side wall, that right arm forward, left arm back. Just a few more breaths in this strong right leg. I know we've been holding it a while now. Your heart lifts a little higher. Maybe sink a little lower. Straightening your right leg. We've got reverse triangle. Turn your right palm up. Reach that right arm back. I like to treat this like a side bend. So my whole right waist is open. My torso is still facing the side wall or the side of my mat. Some people like to take this into more of a back bend. So your heart lifts up and torso lifts up toward the ceiling. Either way is fine. Your legs are straight. One more big breath here in reverse triangle. Let's come back into warrior two from there. Bring your right hand down to the floor inside that foot. Take your left arm behind your back. Either stay here, just rotating on the extension of your heart forward and that twist to the left, or wrap that right hand under, clasping your fingers. I'm going to do that. The wrap variation's a little bit harder. Let's just stay right here. Feel that combination of the back leg staying straight, that front leg bending a lot, torso twisting toward that side wall. And then last, see if you can breathe a little deeper these last few breaths here. You're training your body to be really composed under a stressful, hard situation. Not stressful in a bad way, stressful in a way that is giving yourself a challenge. Good, release your hands down to the floor. Let's step back into plank and lower down from there. Up dog as you're ready. And back into down dog. And that other side, take that left leg up in the air. Bring your left knee toward your right elbow and hold it here. Take that leg back out. And now let's come into warrior one. Bring that left foot up on this side. Turn that back foot down. And warrior one starts it off. Your back leg is straight. Your back foot is either just pointing to the side of your mat, or mine's usually at a little angle in. Not quite 45-degree angle up and in, but something in between there. My torso's straight up. My right hip is moving forward, but not so much that my right leg bends. Opening it up now to warrior two from there. Our hips face the side of the mat. We're looking out over that left hand. Our hearts are lifting higher and taller, even though maybe we're sinking lower in our lower bodies. A few more deep breaths here. You want to create challenge in your body. That's what yoga's asking you to pull out. But you also want to see how composed and steady you can stay in that challenge. It's going to carry over into your life off of your mat. Now straightening our left legs. Let's take reverse triangle. Turn your left palm up. We're reaching that left arm back. Again, I'm keeping my torso pointing toward the side wall, or the side of my mat, and the side bend. You can also take the back bend version, twisting and lifting your heart toward the ceiling. Either one. Beautiful. Let's bring it back into warrior two from there. And then last, bring your left hand down to the floor inside that foot. Our right arm wraps behind our back. And you want that right hand ideally to be kind of toward the top of that left thigh. Rotate that up, maybe wrap your left hand under, clasping your hands near the outside of that left thigh. I see a lot of people in class kind of have their hands clasping kind of, there's no easy way to say it, right near their crotch area. You want it near the outside of that left thigh. A few more breaths here. Extend your heart forward so your spine arches a little bit more, and you're twisting a little higher, and you're sinking low. And one more big deep breath here. And releasing our hands down to the floor, step back into plank. We've got 5 push-ups again, either traditional push-ups, elbows out, or yoga push-ups, elbows right by your side. I tend to notice that women in my class want really defined triceps. The one that'll get that is the push-up with your elbows by your side. When you're done with that 5th push-up, up dog and down dog. So if you are someone that wants to define your triceps and get those nice muscles in there, all the push-ups you do, keep your elbows right by your sides. Can't believe it's been almost 35 minutes already. Got about 7 or 8 more hard minutes to go, and then that'll be it for the strength. Take your right leg up in the air. Let's come into Crescent Pose. Bring that foot up. With your torso and arms up here. All the things in Crescent that we talked about earlier. Your body's getting more fatigued, so it's going to be harder to breathe consistently. So part of my work when I get deeper into a class is trying to keep that composure, even though my body is getting fatigued. From Crescent, let's head out Warrior 3 from there. Everything balances out on that right leg. So you want that T shape with your body for a few more breaths. Point your left toes and left thigh, and maybe that left hip down a little bit more. Now, twisting half moon, bring your left fingertips to the floor or a block. Your right arm reaches up to the ceiling. You want that left hand directly below your left shoulder. A lot of people have that left hand closer toward that right foot, but you want a decent sized gap. So that straight line from your left shoulder to your left hand, and as you're twisting, like in all the twists, arch your back a little bit more. Feel your heart move forward so your spine gets a little bit longer here. This one I see a lot of people's back leg bending because there's so much going on. Press away with that left heel so that back leg is really straight and your left toes are pointing straight down. Take one more breath in this really good twisting half move. Then that hand comes to the floor, and let's step back into Crescent Pose from there. And last 10 seconds here in Crescent, sink as low as you can in that right leg, but keep that left leg straight at the same time. So no bend at all if you can avoid it. And take the deepest breath you've taken so far right here. Beautiful. Sweep your hands down to the floor. Let's step back into plank. When you exhale, you're lowering down. Uncurl your toes, arch your back up, and back into down dog from there. And that other side, let's take that left leg up in the air. We're coming into Crescent here. Bring that left foot up on this side in Crescent to start. Heart rises. Even though your arms are lifted up, try to relax your shoulders down a little bit. There's a little space at the base of your neck where your shoulders meet your neck. And now let's head out to Warrior 3. Lean forward. Bring everything to balance out on your left leg here. I know on our end we are working hard, we're sweating, it's tough. And now twisting half moon, our right fingers come down to the floor or a block, our left arms reach up. Arch your back a little so your heart's lifted forward, your spine is straight. Your right fingers are directly beneath your right shoulder. That back leg, extend it straight. Point those right toes straight down. And the last few breaths here in twisting half moon. Make these breaths a little bit deeper. Show yourself how you can work on your composure, how you cannot lose sight of that even though your physical body is working tremendously. Good, bring that hand down to the floor. Let's step back into Crescent Pose from there. Last 10 seconds or so, the best form you can get. Low in that front leg, strong lift in that back leg, and a straight line from your hips all the way up to your hands, maybe looking straight up as well. And sweeping your hands down to the floor, let's step back into plank and stay right here in plank. 30 seconds of mountain climbers. Right knee to that left elbow and then back down. Left knee, right elbow and back down. Keep going like this. In any pace you want. One thing I see a lot in classes, people's hips are kind of high. Try to keep your hips as low as they were in plank. Halfway in, keep going like this. Try not to hold your breath, breathe as consistently as you can, even though you're working a lot. Good, now keep your feet back into plank. When you exhale, lower down from there. Uncurl your toes, arch your back up. Back into down dog with our exhale. Step or hop your feet up, chair pose from here. Again, a little more weight in your heels so there's no weight in your toes. Your legs are touching, they're together. Sink low for a few more breaths. Your torso and arms are about a 45-degree angle, out and up. Take one more big breath here. Fold down and straighten your legs from there. Walk it back into down dog from there. And let's come down to our knees in child's pose. Uncurl your toes, sit back on your heels. I'm giving you a big high five. Casey gets a big high five. Casey's giving you a big high five. Such a good work. Thank you for that 40 straight minutes of effort, for learning more about the poses, but also working hard and not sacrificing that. For about half a minute, just slow your breath down. It's a good time to wipe off and take a drink. But just relax, it's here. To me, life requires us to be strong, requires us to be flexible in the present moment, and to be composed and be aware, and kind of be in a meditative state, even though you're moving and active through each minute of our lives. And in my yoga practice, all those things are present. And then last, I soundtrack it with music, because it's always better and easier to move with some rhythm and with some music around us. It definitely is inspiring to me. It's part of my life. And all the studies I've read say that music really helps change our internal mood and system. So I want to create something with all those things in one movement in our yoga class, and we're doing that now. So from here, roll up from child's pose. Let's take reverse child's pose for a few breaths. Just lean back, resting on your hands or resting on your elbows. If your knees are a little too tender for reverse child's pose, you can just sit upright. And if that's even too much for your knees, just stay in child's pose, or maybe bring a little weight on your forearms. And let's come back up from child's pose to sitting. We're coming into butterfly pose from here. Let's bring the soles of our feet together. Our knees are out wide apart. If you notice your knees pointing kind of at a 45-degree angle up toward the ceiling, just move your feet away from you a little bit farther. But when you're ready, pull forward, pull down. You want to lead with your heart and not your forehead. So feel your heart moving down towards your feet. We've got a minute here. So now that you're in, and now that you feel you're at the end of your range of motion in butterfly, then start to slow your breath down and scan your body. If there's any muscles like in your shoulders or your jaw or in your face, any muscles that might be tight, just let them go. Deep, consistent inhales and exhales. In every stretching-based pose, just keep scanning your body now and then. See if anything got tight that doesn't need to be tight. Shoulders, jaw, forehead, wherever it may be. Last few big breaths like this. Take one last breath here. Bring your body up from here. Let's come into pigeon next. So you can keep your right leg just about like it is. Sweep that left leg around and back. If you don't like pigeon or don't like what it does for your body, you can take thread the needle, which is on your back. That right knee on your left elbow. If you like pigeon, find your starting place. You want your hips parallel to one another. So don't lean a little to the right side. You want to have your hips parallel to the floor. You want that back leg straight. Your toes are uncurled. Your weight's even on your forearms. Your head can be resting on the floor or off the floor. For this minute, now that you're in, slow your breath down and relax anything that may be tight. Bring lots of oxygen in with every breath. The stretching poses tend to release more than muscular stuff. A lot of times people feel emotions come up. You just feel different things come up from out of the depths of who we are. If you feel anything like that, just know it's very common. It's just your body releasing, which is exactly what this pose is intended. Sometimes it's just on a muscular level. Sometimes it's emotional. Sometimes you let go of thoughts mentally that have been bugging you for a while. The intention is just letting go. Last few breaths here. Surrender into all this opening. Good. To come out, lift your head, straighten your arms. Let's go to down dog after that first side. So you're in pigeon from down dog. When you're ready, we're making your way to the other side. If it's thread the needle, just set up that other side. And same thing, once you found your starting place, and if it's pigeon, don't have that right hip rising. Keep that right hip parallel with your left hip. You want that front knee just around under your left armpit area. Just a little bit outside of that, toward the edge of your mat. You want that left ankle just about under your right hip bone. Or if you're pretty flexible, that ankle can be higher, closer toward the front of your mat. If at any point that front knee doesn't feel good or a part of your body doesn't feel good, that thread the needle position on your back is always okay. Halfway in here, just surrender into all the opening that's going on here and breathe deeply into this. To come out from here, lift your head, straighten your arms. Let's sweep your right leg around and forward. We're making our way to our backs from there. Hug your legs in once you're on your back. We've got two back bends. They can be bridge or wheel. So set your feet down. Your feet are hip distance apart. I'm going to take bridge for this first one and wheel for my second one. So first back bend, lift your hips up in the air. For bridge, I'm interlacing my hands under my back. My fingers are interlaced. My arms are straight and my arms are moving down toward the mat as my hips lift high toward the ceiling. I'm wiggling my shoulders under so I'm a little taller in my chest. Feeling that my feet are parallel to one another and my toes have not turned out. I want my feet parallel to one another and pointing straight toward the front of my mat. The same with my knees. There's a tendency for the knees to go wider than your hips. Keep your knees hip distance apart. Take one more breath in this bridge. Bring this back bend down. We're hugging our legs in from here. Just take a couple breaths off. If you're going to do wheel with me in a moment, a lot of those same components apply. Our feet stay hip distance apart. Our knees stay hip distance apart. And now one more time, we're setting our feet down. Pressing into our feet, our hips are rising. Either take bridge or take wheel pose. If it's wheel, you want your arms as straight as you can get them as you lift your torso and body up off the mat. It's hard to breathe in back bend, so your last few breaths here, make deep and consistent as you can.
But everywhere I look, it points me back to
bring this back bend down. Good, and we're coming into happy baby. Reaching arms inside your knees, hands outside of your feet. You can either just relax here and treat this as a relaxing pose, or you can pull your feet closer toward the floor. If you're doing that, try to keep your arms straight and move your shoulder blades toward the floor. So pull back from your shoulder blades instead of just using your bicep strength. And only if your shoulder blades are easily down, then you can use your bicep strength and pull your feet down more. Last couple breaths here.
Remember those eyes, they spark like the stars.
Releasing your feet, hug your legs in from there. Let's rock up to sitting from here. We're extending both legs straight out in front of us. Our legs are together and out. You want your toes pointing straight up to the ceiling. Let's reach our arms straight up to the ceiling. And take a big breath in. We're getting tall as we can. And when we exhale, let's take our hands out and down. Wherever your hands land, just let your fingers clasp there and relax your torso toward your legs. You've got a minute like this. Just like butterfly, you want to feel your heart moving forward and down and not your forehead moving forward and down. If you need to bend your knees because your hamstrings don't feel good, that's fine. But if you can, try to keep your legs straight, so the backs of your knees really pressing toward the floor. And now you're just surrendering into opening up. It might just be physical again. Your emotions might start to ease down mentally. How you are thinking starts to ease down as well. That's the beauty of yoga. Because we're physical bodies, mental bodies, emotional bodies, spiritual bodies, all at the same time. Once you open one of those things, like muscularly, for example, all the other three aspects of you change for the better as well. For the last few breaths, you're just knowing that all the different, varied, beautiful, and unique sides of yourself, they're all changing for the better because of you spending this time on your mat. I'm always worried I'll stay too long, but in our last breath, let's make it the deepest one yet. I love it when we can laugh together. Beautiful. And let's roll up from there. Let's make our way to our backs from there. Plow pose next. Sweep your legs up and overhead. Just got plow for about half a minute here. If your neck doesn't feel good, just come out of plow and take happy baby instead. But if plow does feel good, traditionally your legs are straight. Your toes may or may not touch the floor. It doesn't matter. Try not to bend your knees at all, so your thighs are engaged. You can have your hands on your back, right around your belt line or low back to help keep you there. But I feel a really big stretch in my neck and upper back when I'm here in plow. Let's take 2 more breaths. It's definitely hard to breathe. Try to keep your breath as deep as you can here. And then let's roll our back down to the floor from there. Let's hug our right legs into our bodies. And the left hand takes the knee over to the left as we twist to the left. Our right arm opens out to the right. Since we're heading to Shavasana very soon, try not to treat this like a work pose. Try not to force that knee down. Just relax into the twist. Deep breaths, nothing more to work on. Just let the pose do the work. Bring that right leg back up. Extend that right leg out. Hug your left leg in. Our last twist, our right hand takes the knee to the right. Our left arm opens out left. What I'm thinking about here is relaxing. Shavasana is coming. I'm preparing for Shavasana by resting here instead of forcing that knee over and being overly aggressive.
We did our best, couldn't have done better. I think we should be proud, but you held me down.
Our last few breaths here.
When I was living up, back and forth, but never together. So I'll stand up and walk out.
Good. Bring that leg back up to center. Extend that leg out onto the floor from there. In Shavasana first, and most importantly, find a position where you feel comfortable. You've earned this. You've been working and moving. And with all that tremendous yoga practicing, now you get to relax deeply. So once you found a comfortable position, close your eyes. It's a nice time for an eye pillow. Some people like putting a towel under their head or neck. Traditionally, your palms face the ceiling. Your toes gently turn out, your feet about hip distance apart. But if you have a more comfortable position, like laying on your side or your stomach, that's great. Take that. One more thing together for us. Take a big breath in, filling up our lungs, holding that breath in. Open your mouth, sigh that breath all out from there. And as deep as you would like to rest, even if it heads into falling asleep. Whatever your body needs to do is perfect. So just rest with me these final minutes here. begin to move your fingers and your toes once again. And just slide your heels gently back. And roll onto your right side. Good. Now press your way up to sitting with us. Close your eyes and bring your hands together at your heart. This practice changes you from the outside in. However I start out my practice, however Casey starts out her practice, by the end, by the time we've made it to Shavasana, I know that both of us feel really good, and it's not just a physical feeling better, but mental and emotional and spiritually more connected. And I know you feel that too, but it took your work to get onto your mat. It took an hour's worth of dedication to your yoga practice. And it took more than anything else, your decision to be a spiritual seeker of goodness, of light, of being your best self, of being your kindest self. All those things changed for the better when you walked onto your mat and did this practice with us. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to that seeker side that lives within you. Thank you for choosing to make yourself better inside and out. Physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and in all those ways. Have a beautiful day wherever you go from here on out. Namaste. How was class for you? We're exhausted, right? You didn't quite hear it, but I could hear Casey like 6 or 7 times, like, come on, it's so hard. It was a tough one. I appreciate you doing it. Thanks for listening to a little more talking about yoga than I usually do in my class, but it's really nice to get some of the alignment in so that when you take the class, you already know, you're your own teacher and you know what to do. Thank you for practicing. It was tough. You deserve a fantastic reward after that, whatever that is for you. And I look forward to practicing with you next time. Namaste. Bye.